someone just recently sent me an email thanking me for some of the videos I created and shared a story where they themselves, being a consultant, lost a pitch against a competitor because their slides didn't look crisp enough, didn't look beautiful enough. The storyline wasn't as crisp, and the other company had really strong storyline, great looking slides, and that was one of the reasons why they went with the other company. In this video, I want to focus on a few simple tactics that only take 5 to 10 minutes to make your slides look better. I personally love thinking about presentations, doing presentations. I spent 5+ years at a management consulting company, and now I'm at a big financial services company. And over the last 10 years, I've spent tons of time thinking about presentations, creating them, and I still love doing it. And that's why I'm also sharing these videos. I hope this is helpful for some of you, and let me know if you have any questions and thoughts. Top management consulting companies have offshore teams just focused on that. Some of them, you work on a case, you work on a big presentation, and then overnight you send it to a team, an offshore team. While you sleep, they go over the full presentation, cleaning it all up, aligning everything, no typos, etc. You probably don't have that time. I don't have it either. Now, the simple tactic I want to talk about in this video is adding icons to your slides. Using little pictures, little icons to convey the meaning of your story, of your slides, of your messages. And that is helpful for a bunch of reasons. I think number one, it just looks better. It gives almost a halo effect on the quality of your content. When something looks better and looks more professional, people automatically assume that more thinking, more thoughts, and more work has been put into that output, into that deliverable. And lastly, it's easier to grasp for the audience. So they don't have to necessarily read the whole text. They can see some of the pictograms. If you have 3 themes, 3 tactics, it's easier for them to understand that quickly. On this slide, a quick example of how to use icons for your slides to spruce up your presentations. For instance, if you have 3 tactics or 3 initiatives you want to work on. Here on this slide, number 1, develop a new product to increase revenues could be one initiative. Another one, reorganize the sales org to improve flexibility and efficiency. And then lastly, consolidate vendors to reduce purchasing costs. Now, this is a very typical text slide where people just put a few thoughts on a page. Granted, this is probably a little more concise than most slides where there would be a full paragraph, more texts. I've already simplified the slide here to make it a little easier. And using icons now on this slide would be finding themes for these initiatives and then creating a little icon and putting it to the side. And here in this example, the first one, develop a new product to increase revenues, could be an icon that has like new in it or a product. For instance, here an icon just new with a little sticker around it, like a new product, new geo or whatever. The next one, reorganize our sales org. Probably I would try to find an icon that reflects a sales organization or an organizational org chart, for instance, like this one here on the slide. And then lastly, consolidate vendors to reduce purchasing costs. An icon that reflects the meaning of a vendor or maybe something about costs. And that would be here a little vendor truck van to prove that point. Obviously, there's a bunch of different icons you could theoretically use. These initiatives, the way they are structured, there's always an activity, develop a new product to increase revenues. Like, what are we doing and then what's the effect of it? And so here, I focus mostly on the activity, but you could also obviously focus on the impact. Like for the first one, increase revenues. We could have an icon that shows revenues, like a little chart that goes up. At the bottom, consolidate vendors. I use the activities, like focus on the vendors. The effect would be reducing purchasing costs, so we could also have here one focused on costs. I hope this was helpful as a first concept, adding icons to your slides. Here on this slide, another example. This is a slide I pulled from Deloitte where they have 5 pillars here, 5 segments, building a future-ready sourcing and procurement function. what are the things they need to do to get to that. For instance, simulation war games, cost and cash optimization, a few more, and also a target operating model. And this is just text bucketed in 5 themes, where adding icons here will make the slide look better, easier to understand, easier to present, and just look more professional overall. And that's what you can see here, where they created some nice icons. They also look all very similar, so it looks very professional, almost like a marketing brochure. Now, lastly, I would love to walk through a live example of how you would apply this to your presentations and slides. On this slide, you have 4 themes that I pulled, where if we want to create icons for these themes, I would try to figure out what are the different themes here on this page. Let's create just 3 simple boxes. The first one is development of creative commercial strategy and M&A strategy. The next one, the scientific and clinical underpinnings. These convergence plays drive their real value. Strong diligence must be performed. To simplify it a little bit, I'm just going to use 3 here. Convergence. And now the first step is figuring out what are the themes. So development of a creative commercial strategy and M&A strategy. So this is acquisitions. Maybe we call this strategy. The next one, scientific. And then the last one, having good diligence. And now I'm gonna go on UX Wing, which I think is a great website for icons because they're free to use commercially without having to footnote it. Now we said the first one was strategy. You can either just type in the theme, or I think this one is actually a good one, kind of like different options, decision, where to go. And then I'm gonna quickly snip this icon. And then the other ones are science. Yeah, I think this one is a good one. And the snipping tool. This one helps us with the point of scientific underpinning, the foundation of our strategy, of where the value comes from. And then lastly, diligence. Here we could think of, maybe here we do a little finder, something like this. I think this is a good checklist or diligence looking icon. Oh, and now you have quickly created 3 icons and made this slide just a little nicer. Here, I would probably, if I had more time, do a bunch of additional little tricks just to make it look nicer. For instance, I might pull in here some horizontal little dotted lines. You could also, like I did in the first one, create a circle around these icons, or you could put them in columns. All of this helps just to make the slide look more professional, a little more thoughtful, and easier to understand. A few things we talked about and lessons learned. Number 1, use icons wherever possible to spruce up your slides, especially text-heavy slides. Number 2, it only takes a few minutes, and especially for the more important slides, I would definitely spend that time. And lastly, there are free websites, UX Wing, and some other ones where you can pull these icons for free. I hope this was helpful. Let me know any thoughts and have a good day.